Hello, everybody. Good morning. It is Thursday, September 17th. And I was realizing this morning there are only 4 more days of summer left, the official end of. Just amazing. It seems to have gone by awfully fast. Hey, looks like we have a really small group today. Just me, you, and Bill. Chris, me, you, and Bill. Me, Chris, and Bill. And I know Bill was on Rob's training last night, and you all obviously were also, Chris. So, couple of things. A couple of things. So that just so you know, if it helps you, let me know. I have. Let me see if I can pull this up. I'm going to do a screen share. And by the way, anybody who wants to come over and jump in and chat with me is certainly welcome to. But in a moment here, if I get my act together, where the hell did I put them? Yeah, there we go. I'm going to do a screen share for a moment, just to show you, and I'm going to assume everybody's going to be able to see my screen. Here we go, and I have clicked the wrong button. Okay, I have. If you look at this, I'm assuming you can see my screen. I managed to screen capture almost all of Rob's slides early on in the show. And actually, let me go through a couple of them with you because there's a method to my madness, so bear with me for just a moment. The very first slide that Rob put up was let's call it a mission statement or a goal or a statement of what he wants to accomplish. On or before September 2016, I will have done whatever is necessary and appropriate to have earned at least 100,000 in MLSP affiliate commissions. Da 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 da. You can read the slide as fast as I can. I think this is sort of pivotally important, and I want to come back to it in a moment. The next slide he put up, and I'm only going to put up about 3 of his slides right now. The next slide he put up, handwrite your target objective at least 100 times. Internalize it. Make it yours. Then he went on to talk about some affirmations. Why am I feeling so incredibly blessed and powerful today? Why do I no longer fear being truly happy and wonderfully rich? Why does the title Marketing Master fit me today, and how will I live more into that today? And finally, I'm going to skip over and I'm going to go to 2 more things. Action plan. Make a list of the products you can sell, services, etc. What do you have? List your target market, keywords, links. And finally, and this is where I'm going to stop, I think, record and organize all offers. So you see he has a page here, MLSP Mastery Generic. What's up? The Brian Finale video. Where are the capture pages? What are their URLs? What is the end result of going down this funnel? It's a 10-day trial. What are the keywords? And he makes a list of keywords. Okay, I'm going to stop that. With a little luck, I'm not going to end the presentation. I'm going to just stop the screen share. Oh, I see I picked up somebody. Who else is on here? Larry! I finally kicked you out. I'm sorry. I should have had you over here today. Hey, Larry, were you on the presentation last night with Rob? Let me know in the chat. Okay. Well, I'm sort of waiting for a response back from Larry. There's a method to my madness for putting those up. And by the way, as you can see, I have a whole bunch of slides there, and anybody who wants them can have them. I tried to put them up in the Lunch with Len group today, and I have to put each one over there individually. The other thing I could probably do or possibly do is collect them all together and turn them into a PowerPoint file or something and then put the file over there. I'm not sure what the easiest way to do this is, but you're certainly welcome to have them for those of you who were not able to grab it. But here's where I wanted to go with this today. And again, how many of you have been reading or have gotten into at all reading Tony Robbins' book, Money Master the Game, or any of Tony Robbins' stuff for that matter? I'm gonna spend a few minutes here and take some stuff from Tony Robbins, and then I'm gonna come back. Okay, yeah, I got it, Chris. Yeah, I'm gonna spend a few minutes here and take some stuff from Tony Robbins, and then I'm gonna come back to Rob's presentation. I'm gonna tie all this together. I really have a loop here. But here's the truth. The ultimate thing that stops most of us from making significant progress in our lives is not somebody else's limitations, but rather our own limiting perceptions or beliefs. What do the no's mean? Chris and Bill, what do the no's mean? So I can't interpret them. Oh, the book. I'm sorry. Okay, the book. Yes. Okay. Look, everyone has a fear of failure at some level, and at times we're all afraid of things. And I'm going to tell you right now, even today, I go through periods of time where I have sort of fear wells up in me, and I go, oh, I don't know if I really want to do that or not. What if the people don't like it? What if it's not the right thing? And I actually went through one of these today before I decided to do what I'm doing, and I'm going to circle back. So bear with me, because I think you're going to get a lot of value out of what I want to do here. But we all come up with our stories. We make our stories, and they're between our ears. And they stop us, they slow us down, they put us into a catatonic state where we sit around and we decide that we don't want to do something. So in everything we want to do, the final obstacle we have to face is ourselves. And Tony talks about a breakthrough, and I'm reading from my notes. A breakthrough is a moment in time when the impossible becomes possible. When you don't just talk about something, but you finally take massive action and do whatever it takes to make it happen. And he talks about breakthrough being an instant in time. And many of us think of breakthroughs as, oh, we've been working on this for 10 years. I've been in 17 different MLMs and I failed in all of them. And I finally made progress. I finally figured out what to do. But the breakthrough didn't take 10 years. The breakthrough took an instant. It was an instant in time when everything came together. We put our foot down and we said, damn it, enough. I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. And I have an example in my own personal life. And I know we've all been in similar situations, or probably many of us have, but I was in a relationship that wasn't really working out very well. And I wasn't particularly happy with the relationship. And I would go to bed at night and I would lay there and I would think, okay, tomorrow morning I'm going to tell her, look, we got to break this up. It isn't working for me. And then I'd get up in the morning and I go, oh, well, let me just see how today goes and we'll put it off. And I went on and on and on. I just got in my own way so many times, making excuses. And finally, of course, the whole thing fell apart because it reached a critical mass and it just broke. But it took a long time to get there. So Tony tells us there are three things we have to create a breakthrough in our life. We have to change our strategy, we have to change our story, and we have to change our state. Yeah, I agree, Larry. So let's talk about strategy. And this is where I want to talk. I'm going to tie back to what Rob told us last night. Where do most people go to learn strategy? Let's start there. Most people go to their Uncle Harry or their Aunt Sally or their friend down the street, they talk to them about, oh, listen, I'm thinking about getting into this new business. What do you think about this? And of course, the person they're talking to has never been in a business in their life. They've never built a business. They're not successful. They don't have a track record. But we go to people we trust. Now, we've often been told that success leaves clues. Rob's pretty damn successful. He just left a whole trail of clues last night. My God, if you want to know how to be successful doing blogging, there's somebody who's really made it happen. And he told us last night, he told us that he's made blogs that only made a couple $100 a year, but he's also made blogs that made $100,000 a year. And he gave us an exact recipe. So success leaves clues. So the question then is, Do we follow the person who's successful? Do we do what they do? Because if we really do what they do, we can get what they got, right? So why doesn't that always work for us? I know for me sometimes I think I'm following somebody. I think I'm following Rob, or I think I'm following Ray Higdon. I thought for a long time I was following Ray Higdon, but I found out something. I realized something some time ago. I was deluding myself. Ray Higdon puts a new blog post up every day of the week. He doesn't miss a day. He hasn't missed a day in 5 years. Excuse me, how many days of the week do I put up a blog post? Well, it ain't 7, that's for sure. So am I really following Ray Higdon? Okay. If I'm not, then maybe that's the reason I'm not getting what he's got, at least not getting it as fast as he got it. Of course, we can always make excuses. Oh, well, Ray had a better start than I had. Oh, Ray was in real estate. He had a lot of background. Oh, we can always come up with stories and make excuses for ourselves. And I'm really good at that. And I think some of you are too. And then, so the question is, what do we do with those stories? We got to change the stories we tell ourselves. We have to get to a point where we realize, internalize that we are the only person standing in our own way. And we got to get out of our way. These stories we tell ourselves disrupt our ability to emulate the person that we think we're following. And we get ourselves into well, gee, he's lucky. Well, he had better breaks than I had. Well, he knew some people. Well, I can even go down a different rabbit hole. Well, look at how much help Jessica gives Ray. I wonder how many of us have thought of that before. Excuses, excuses, excuses. And I'm really good at them. So, if we tell ourselves disempowering stories, we can virtually guarantee our failure. We got to tell ourselves empowering stories. We got ourselves, doing videos every day, 27 days in a row. Good for you, Chris. Yeah, and I've followed on with the lunch with the coffee with Len videos, and I'm doing a lot of things too. But I want to wrap this back up to what Ray told us last night too. So let me go on just a couple minutes longer, and then I'm going to bring this on back. So we got to tell ourselves empowering stories. I'm the leader people are looking for. I am successful. I am getting there, and we have to put ourselves in a place, in a feeling state where we really truly believe it. Remember, we talked about this so many times, Napoleon Hill's, what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. We have to really, truly believe it. So Tony tells us there are 3 things. 1, the strategy. One strategy is to pick somebody who's successful and has what we want and do what they do. But we got to be sure that if we're going to pick that person and follow them, that we do everything that they do. Now, I'm going to come back to Rob. 2, the stories we tell ourselves. We've got to be sure that we tell ourselves empowering stories. Rob isn't lucky to have multiple $100,000 a year businesses. Ain't not a bit of lucky in that equation at all. He busted his butt for that. It's something that Justice Egan talked about in the September sessions, maybe a week or so ago, about don't put down the people that are successful by saying, well, they were lucky. They weren't lucky. These guys have busted their butt to get what they've got. I mean, certainly Ray Higdon and Rob Four and our heroes, Mark Harbert, Justice, Adam Chandler. These guys are all out there busting their butt. They're not working 2 hours a day, 2 or 3 days a week right now. They've got the pedal to the metal, and they're going balls to the wall to get their airplane off the ground. And then someday they'll be able to settle back maybe and work 2 days a week like Diane claims she does. And I don't believe her either, because look at how many seminars and webinars she's doing and how much time she's putting in, etc. And then the third thing I want to bring us to is the change of state. There was an interesting TED Talk, and it's a Harvard professor named Amy Cuddy, C-U-D-D-Y. If you just look up Amy Cuddy TED Talk, really interesting talk. And again, this information is coming from Tony Robbins' book. But if we put ourselves in an empowering state, we really can physiologically change the way our body is working. So for example, if we're getting ready to get on a phone and talk to a client, then we go, oh my God, I got to get on the phone. Oh, I don't like the phone. I'm going to do it, but boy, I don't like making these phone calls. And okay, you know what? You're done. You might as well not make the phone call because you've just sabotaged the call. But if you put yourself in an empowering state, if you put your hands on your hips, stand up, spread your legs, and just, I love to do this. I'm going to do it. Take a few deep breaths, get some oxygen going, get the blood going, pump yourself up, power yourself up. They've done some interesting experiments. People can put themselves in a power pose. And a power pose is sort of like the Wonder Woman pose. The hands on the hips, the legs spread, and the chest is out, and I can do anything. And if you put yourself in a power pose for 2 minutes, for 85% of the people, your testosterone level goes up substantially, and your cortisol level goes down. Now, what does that mean? And yes, you have testosterone too, Chris. Testosterone is the hormone that makes us, it gives us energy, it gives us strength, it gives us self-confidence, it gives us power, it helps us. And cortisol is the hormone that causes stress and anxiety. If we put ourselves in a power state for 2 minutes, we can change the physiological state of our body so that we feel more empowered and we feel less anxiety and we're more ready to make that phone call and to come across as the self-confident, deserving leader that we want to be. Now, how does that tie us back to Rob? How many people do you think were on that webinar last night? Anybody want to guess? Anybody want to come over? Who wants to come over? I'm going to click you. If you don't want to come over, don't come. I clicked on Chris. Chris is always fun. Clicking on you, Larry. Bill, clicking on you. Hey.
Hi.
Hey, so how many people do you think were on that webinar last night? Want to take a guess?
I would bet that there was probably close to 500 or 600.
Okay. I think that's probably a conservative number. Any of you know how many people were on the webinar last night?
It was very, very powerful.
Any idea how many people were on? Want to take a guess?
I had to be hundreds and hundreds. I don't know.
Bill?
Yeah, it's over 1,700.
What's that? There's only 1,700?
Over 1,700.
Over 1,700? Okay, I was going to say 1,000. Last week I know there was near 1,000. So okay, if there's over 1,700 now, those 1,700 people, how many do you think will actually sit down and write a mission statement like that first slide that Rob put up? How many do you think will actually write the statement out and set a goal for themselves?
I don't know.
How many?
50.
Huh?
Maybe 50.
How many do you think will write down 100 times or more till they internalize it, what they really want to do? How many do you think are going to make a list? There are 57 products, by the way. I looked it up this morning. I counted 55. How many do you think will make 55 spreadsheets, one for each product, and fill in all the blanks that Rob told everybody to do? I'm going to bet maybe 10. maybe 20. How many?
I'm gonna give it one hell of a try.
Well, yeah, and how many people 6 months from now are going to say, "Well, I tried what Rob told me to do, but it didn't work."
Yeah.
Hundreds.
Doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
Rob showed that curve. Months of putting out the blog post before the curve took off, before the hockey puck occurred. He showed that curve. So I think the reason I wanted to go back through all this Tony Robbins stuff today is because I've just been reading this chapter, and it just really got me. It's going. I was sitting here thinking about all this, going, okay. Rob gave us a roadmap last night. He gave us a phenomenal roadmap, and yes, it's a hell of a lot of work. You bet. But it's a $100,000 a year business. And I remember, when I ran the flight school, and it was a $5 million a year business, I was going from 6 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night most days, and that included Saturdays and Sundays. There weren't any days off. That was a joke. A day off? What's that? I've heard of that. So I don't know about you, but I am going to start down the path that Rob showed us last night. And yes, Chris, we've all got to make some adjustments to our blogs. And I think, and the question that's been up this week for all of us is, what are we going to do with our blogs now that we have? And I know we don't all have MLSP sites yet. I guess the rumor that was on the street last night is if you weren't at MLSP LTD6, but if you buy a ticket for LTD7, probably it's going to turn on pretty quick. But you know what? It's going to turn on, and it's weeks. It's not years away. It's probably weeks. But I think that I'm really going to do a lot of what Rob did, and I'm going to put the word "a lot" in because I haven't dug through everything to really fully understand it all. But I'm going to start down that path, and I'm going to use MLSP sites, and I'm going to begin to differentiate. I've often felt that my site, lenmooney.com, was a little bit confusing, that I was confusing my law of attraction and vision stuff with my marketing and MLM stuff. And I think that I'm going to begin to separate those two apart and let the Len Mooney site become more law of attraction, vision workshops, etc., and the MLSP sites become more targeted at MLSP and building MLSP. And Rob gave us just an incredible number of ideas last night about how to build MLSP. I don't even know where to begin. There's so much value in what he did.
I got a question for you. I had a question last night. Can you make up multiple blogs off the MLSP sites?
I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I don't know. But I don't know why not.
Because I have my other blog that's not WordPress for my business, and I want to get it converted to WordPress.
Right. I don't know why you can't, because you see the way it's structured is it's structured with subdomains. So my blog right now is lensblog/mlspsites.com. I don't know why I couldn't also have one that said happytimesmlsp.com. I don't know why you couldn't. I just don't know. But this thing's so new and in beta right now that I think there's still a lot of unknowns. But anyway, anybody else have any thoughts about how we proceed forward with this stuff?
Yeah. That was one of the best webinars that I've ever been on there last night.
I agree, and unfortunately, I couldn't catch the end of it. I had a internet failure here at about 2 hours in, and I could not. I had to reboot my computer, and I could not get back to the webinar near the end of it. So I don't know how he ended it.
I don't either.
It ended rather abruptly. The video's still up on YouTube.
Is it?
Yes.
Can you can you find the video, Bob? Sorry, Bill. Can you find the video, Bill, and just throw the link up in Lunch with Len?
Okay, there's a second.
Cool. Okay. Hey, that's really all I had for you today. So, you're not going to hurt my feelings, but I'm going to ask you, was there value in what we did today? Would you like to do more of that kind of thing?
Hell yes.
Along the line of mindset kind of stuff once in a while.
You
No,
always,
I like it.
Sorry.
Chris?
You always give value, Lynn.
Well, thank you for that. So if we do more mindset kinds of stuff, okay, good. I got it, Bill. I'm going to see if I can copy it and take it over to the. I can't copy it from here, can I?
Bill, can you put it in the Lunch with Lynn group?
Okay, I'll do that.
For some reason, we're not able to copy out of the chat.
Yeah, that's right.
Let me just say something, and I don't know if you heard this part, Lynn, or not, but I didn't realize that I thought it was good to have people comment on your blog, on the blog itself.
Right.
Rob said no. Do the Facebook comments. Don't have them commenting on your blog. It takes away from the SEO. But what Google's looking for is the amount of time people stay on your blog.
Right. Yeah, that was. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I didn't realize that. You know, I've been avoiding the Facebook comment part, and maybe that's what we need to do within the ABCs of blogging too. If we all get the Facebook comments, encourage people to do those comments and take the other comments off.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting comment. But I want to go back and listen to that whole webinar because there was so much there. Because part of what he said too was that some of the things he disables in his blogs are because he doesn't want people contacting him on some of those blogs.
Right.
So we're going to go back and really sort through some of this stuff. But yeah, that was an interesting, really interesting comment. The other thing that I found, which I'd never heard this before, was I went ahead right in this morning. I went into settings and I disabled search engines indexing the site. It makes sense. But I have never heard anybody say that before. That when if you're still setting up the blog, you don't want the search engines indexing it because it's not ready yet.
Yeah, I didn't ever think about that.
Yeah, so I shut that off this morning. That was one of the first things I did. I jumped out of bed and I went to. If you don't remember where it is, it's under settings, and
I don't have the privacy thing set up either.
Yeah.
And he said that that's one of the first things Google looks for. So I need to get that on there immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we all got a lot of work to do.
If you guys want to download that YouTube video, I'll put the information up there too, so you can do that.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Cool. Perfect.
I have my YouTube feature.
Alrighty then. I'm off to San Diego. I'll see you Tuesday.
Okay.
And you folks just have a wonderful weekend. And Bill, you didn't chime in. Once again, was today valuable for you, Bill?
Yes.
The answer, and I want to tell everybody, if the answer is no, that's okay too. I really want to know what your opinion is, so I don't do things that you just don't want to do. So, cool. Okay.
You want to know what?
What?
What did you just say?
What did I just say? I just want you to be honest with me because you won't hurt my feelings. I just don't want to do. I don't want to be doing things that you don't want to do. So that's all.
No, it takes a long time to absorb what Rob says. You got to go back several times and, oh, that's what he meant.
Yeah, there is a tremendous amount that went on last night, and I will try to figure out a way to get those slides to you folks as quick as I can. I mean, one thing I could do is I can copy them all into Lunch with Len, but then you have to download. You got 20-something different files or whatever, however many I've got there. So I don't quite know how to bundle them together and put it in a single file. unless I turn it into PowerPoint, which I tried to do that easily, and it's not easy. I'm going to have to copy them over one at a time, which I can do.
You can do it in a Word document too. Just drop them in a Word document.
Can I? Can I?
You've got 2010, don't you? Just drop the images in, save it as a PDF, and upload it as a file.
Okay,
You're done.
If that works in the next couple of minutes, then I hadn't thought about that, Bill. I'll give it a try.
Yeah, PowerPoint's the same thing.
Yeah, what I found with PowerPoint is, what I was hoping is if I copied, like, there's 20 different images there. If I copied them all and then just pasted them, the PowerPoint would be smart enough to paste one on, each one on a different slide, but it wasn't. It pasted them all onto the same slide on top.
Because it's doing what you told it to do.
Yeah. Well, it's not what I wanted.
I know. Two different things.
Yeah. Anyhow, all right, everybody. Well, have a great weekend. Let me get off this so I can get. I'll see if I can copy that into a Word document and send it over there in the next few minutes. You'll know one way or the other. And if not, I'll work on it later today when I get up to San Diego. So
have a great trip and be safe.
Yeah,
Be safe. Enjoy.
I need to get out quick. There's a window here that.
Yeah, enjoy and have fun.
Yeah. Talk to you Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.